But you see, let's go back to Mr. Kennedy Agyapong, who I say is a good friend of mine. His case is not new. From day one that Anas started working and putting out his thing, Anas has always been attacked by people in Ghana. On the judges' team, there was a group called Brother Afro Youth. They asked for his arrest and prosecution. And today, as I speak to you, there are people who send me text messages. There's a doctor in Kumasi, there's somebody in the UK attacking me, that I've betrayed my Nkrumah's tradition. I've allowed myself to be used by the neo-colonialist superpowers to destroy Africa. They are attacking me left one. It's on my phone. But I said, no, and then you arrest Anas, prosecute him, and then you. They should go to court. Those who think in terms of several terms were affected, they should go to court. Those who think it's a criminal, they should petition the police. We'll be ready. That young man will be ready.
But would you dare Kennedy Agyapong to put out Neoma also your one?
I told you to push and pursue him. That's what I said.
Okay.
Push and pursue. And ask him to put it out. Because I'm declining your invitation to enter the realm of speculation, conjecture and suspicions and allegations. I'm declining that. But you realize that I dealt with one, the trade fair one, because that is public record. You realize that?
Yes.
I did that deliberately, consciously. That's how we should deal with things.
Yo, Abdul,
this business didn't start today. Do you understand? And as has been doing this, he's getting to about 2025. When he began, he was such a young man from GIG. He was an attachment to my paper. He chose it. He decided to work for his own reason. And when he came, I asked him why here. He says, this is where I want to be. Very young man. Then I said, okay, go out there, feel free. You are a free electron. He things he brought, dramatic. I took a decision to allow the man to freely flow. I don't influence him. On the judges, there was the perception. There were all sorts of information coming. One court, bad cases. One judges are delay, and yet the judges are not giving them the judgment they had procured by paying. Plenty people were taught. Many years, parliamentary investigations. There was a committee of parliament on perception of corruption in the judiciary. The judiciary itself sanctioned 3 or 4 judges, one of whom was challenging them in the court. Now, all these people were with all sorts of information and allegations. He couldn't just publish the allegations and information. He would be in big trouble. So he decides that, look here, let me set up a project. And all these reports coming to me are true. And the people coming, they mention the names of the judges and the cases involved. So the man sets up the project and says, let me test the allegations. Let me, veracity or otherwise. So he proceeds. Those judges are then targeted. They have cases they are handling. First of all, code of ethics of the judges. As a judge, to engage in excommunication, meaning to engage in communication with people whose case are before you or whose case are not before you, but relative to a case before you. First of all, fundamentally, you are gone when you do that. 2, you proceed even to take money, goats, jam, and things. And judges here, the justices, they are gods on earth. They are gods, quote unquote, on earth. They dispense justice, or supposed to be dispensing justice. So he gets that. Now he says, this is proof of the allegations, of the perception. Knowing that the judges come under the constitutional framework, he triggers the constitutional process, petitions the president. The president forwards his petition to the chief justice. The chief justice then gave the judges the opportunity to come in video and react. I hear people say, no. He should have asked the judges to look at the video for them to react. Hey, well, you are entitled to that. He wouldn't do that. I wouldn't advise you to do that. Because I know the judges will get an opportunity to react. Of course, that's one thing he did. I backed him. I said he was prepared to go to jail. Was that don't show it before the Chief Justice Committee starts working. He did. Subsequently, the Supreme Court ruled that he was wrong. So that is talking about case award petitioner is being held in camera. Note that, the operative word. If the case is being held in camera. So on that score, yes, the Supreme Court has ruled against his approach. And he will respect it. He's a lawyer anyway, so he will respect it. Kofi Nantichi is my good friend, and I feel very bad about what is going on relative to him as a person, as a human being. All the rest, are not captured in that. The SERPS officials who were captured, the cocoa SERPS officials who were aiding cocoa smugglers, the Chinese slave traders who were using kids at some corner bar of the BB at the circle, or the Osu children's home, the children who are being abused. He couldn't have asked those who are abusing the children, come and look at the tape. Tell me why you were doing this to this kid and all that. He sent it to the appropriate authorities for them to investigate. Look, an area that is controversial, that is challenged. The young man has decided that I will put my life on the line relative to this approach. Name and shame. He's added jail. Name and shame is within his remit. Jail, after he's presented the evidence to the appropriate authorities, they will look at the material. If it has any prima facie they send it to the appropriate center, which is the court, and the court determines. Some of the people he captured are in jail. Some were free. That is the law.
But on naming and shaming, yes. Ebiaka said there are two projects na be brina air share name one the Parliament of Ghana, the two, the one on Galamsey as we speak on release.
You know what?
Yes.
I'm tired of answering that question. In the last 6 months, I've been answering the question.
And it keeps coming up.
2-3 weeks, remember? Yeah, but it's because some people are using it for mischief. And some people think they can be his editors-in-chief or they can police his work. But I answered this only last 2 weeks, confidential. And he was doing a genuine inquiry. He raised it, and I answered. I've answered it on PCSM. I answered it on Metro. First of all, there is no way anybody is going to compel ANAS to release a project that is incomplete. That's the bottom line. But I went further to explain. First of all, this GFA thing, it began to... There have been occasions that ANAS is doing work, therefore, at the same time. If it is convinced it is complete, and he's got all the things, he will put it out. For instance, my memo example about Galamsey, as I told you earlier, allegations come, perceptions come, names are mentioned. What? But you can't put those things out. Now you set up a team to go into the field to monitor to see if indeed Mr. A, Mr. B, Mr. C, A company, B company, C, I was say one yes, I mean, and you true and then you true. Now you cannot determine when Mr. A goes into a dealing. There are times people do say, "I'm not putting on in call for match or anonymity at the cover and get the information." No, there are places recorders and cameras are kept, and they are kept and serviced sometimes for 6, 7, 8 months. Also, children's home. That's what happened. The psychiatric hospital. That's what happened. The corner bar at Circle. That's what happened. They are not there physically, but the cameras and hidden. You see, what I'm doing is not something he feels comfortable with because it truly exposing methodology, which is wrong. But I'm compelled to do it. I've explained to you. And the bottom line, with the so-called the parliament and Galamsey, the error came from me when I prematurely, perhaps out of over-enthusiasm, and I've apologized to him and to the public. There was no need for me to have even dropped the hint. I did. Fine. Nobody is going to be able to tell him, say, bring it out because we want it. Back out. Completer. What are you people going to do to him? If we have Mr. A, Mr. B, who we suspect and have been told by people who engaged with him, and the people came meeting him in some event in Syria, why does he want to put it out? You know the number of people who are on the target, rather on his radar, from top to bottom. It's another year. My calm, my breath. Until me decided that those who want to split on that and use it to cast doubt on his integrity or my integrity, they can continue. We don't have a problem with that.
But enye hona problem amount for one. It was say the whole thing. I say, okay, I will tempt you out until say you fall for my bait before I capture you and put it out.
Obi, well, I'm sure you have integrity. I want to believe that.
Yes.
I believe you don't go out collecting monies to come and do your program to destroy people.
No.
Deliberately.
No.
So if somebody came to tell Anas that that's what you've been doing, and he tried to test you, would you fall for it?
Absolutely not.
Thank you. I've said your integrity is your armor. But I've told you, for instance, let me give something I wasn't doing until Kwesi Nyante's name was mentioned publicly. I never mentioned the name. I never even mentioned the institution. I just said football administrators, football players, football executives, associations, a general. So you wouldn't know who was being spoken about till the presidential press conference. Now, this project here, a joint and market, a joint Tiger Eye BBC project. It's not an exclusively Tiger Eye project, and it is not Ghanaian alone. The two entities own that project and the investigation. They initiated it and own it, and they are going to use it, both of them on the same level. But Mamin can't be sure that whole thing was football corruption. That's what you are saying. Hello?
Yeah, was
football. Now, if Mr. Nyantechi, whose name now I'm able to mention for good reasons, if he had not, you are talking football sponsorship, football team happening and all that. If he had not peddled influence, mentioning political establishment, you think the president of Ghana would have had the opportunity to watch the portion that concerns him? No. That is 95% football. In the process of investigation, somebody decides to create the impression so influential in a particular jurisdiction as beyond football sponsorship. So, open business contract, and that you have to bring so and so and so. So it is not as if, relative to that aspect, he was enticed or entrapped. He voluntarily brought that in for whatever reason. Are you getting my drift?
I'm getting you. I'm following.
Please. Nobody was talking of football connected to politics. That was not the agenda. It is the man himself. While he was negotiating what he said to be football and football sponsorship, then decides, maybe thinking, these people, they are business, it's my main chipping this in. Then he chips it in. That's why that political aspect is only about 5%, 10% of the 100% document investigative project. But that 5%, 10% becomes significant and explosive because of the political. He decided for his own reason. And when he came, I asked him why here. He says, this is where I want to be. Very young man. Then I said, okay, go out there, feel free. You are a free electron. He thinks he brought dramatic. I took a decision to allow the man to